Hey guys, Mother's Day is coming, so it's a lovely time to share with my favorite book called Remember Me by Margaret. It's a very touching story between a grandma and granddaughter. Grandma is getting older, her memory is getting worse, she forgets everything. Perhaps one day she might forget her lovely granddaughter. So I cried when I read this book, so when you read this, be ready with tissues and enjoy it. Remember Me by Margaret Wilde and D. Huxley. Ellie says to me, "Grandma, let's go out to the park and the shops. Let's catch a bus and go and watch the ships come in." But should I go out? Should I? If I do, will I remember where I live? Will I remember this house? I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything anymore. Ellie says to me, "Grandma, I'll help you remember. I will tie knots in your hanky and write nooks and leave them everywhere." And she does. But I forget what the knots mean, and I forget to look at the nooks. Sometimes I forget to bring in the milk and pay the bills and put out the garbage bin. Sometimes I even forget to get dressed. And when I go out to water the garden, the sun is high in the sky, and I'm still in my pajamas. Ellie says to me, "Grandma, I'll help you remember. I'll help you find your keys and your handbag. Then we can go out to the park and shops. We can catch a bus and go and watch the ships come in." But where are my keys and my handbag? And where is the bus stop? I forget. I think I'm beginning to forget everything. I stare at Ellie as if I'm not quite sure who she is. And she throws her arms around me and says, "Oh, Grandma, please remember. Please, please, please remember me." And while Ellie puts the kettle on for tea, I do remember. I remember what a funny, fat baby Ellie was. I remember how she crawled with her bottom in the air, and how she emptied her breakfast on her head. I remember how she ran from the waves and sailed down the sand dunes in a cardboard box. I remember that birthday card Ellie wrote in her very best handwriting. I remember when we washed Ellie's green rabbit and hung it up to dry, and the ears scratched and scratched and scratched. And Ellie said, "Poor rabbit," and loved it more than ever. And I remember the day she had a fight with her mom and said, "I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away to Africa." She collected her piggy bank and her green rabbit and a packet of chips and rode off with her nose in the air. I tell Ellie all this, and she says, "See, Grandma, see, you can remember." I throw my arms around Ellie because it's true. I can remember. I may still forget to bring in the milk and pay the bills and put out the garbage bin, but there are some things I hope I shall never forget. So Ellie and I turn the house upside down, and we find my keys and my handbag, and off we go for a picnic in the park across the road. Ellie swings higher and higher until she almost disappears into the clouds. When she comes back, we'll go to the shops. And one day soon, I'll tie the biggest knot ever in my hanky, and we'll catch a bus and go and watch the ships come in.